It was a crisp autumn afternoon in New York City. The streets were bustling with the usual crowd of commuters, tourists, and street performers. Donald Trump, clad in his signature suit, was walking down Fifth Avenue on his way to a business meeting. But as he passed by a busy intersection near Central Park, something caught his eye that made him stop in his tracks. Sitting on the sidewalk, just outside a small cafe, was a blind man in his mid-30s. His clothes were worn, and his face was weathered, but there was something about his presence that stood out. In front of him, an old piano sat on the pavement, its keys chipped and faded from years of use. The man's fingers moved gracefully over the keys, playing a melody that resonated with such depth it sent chills down the spines of those passing by. Donald Trump stopped and stared for a moment, captivated by the man's skill. He could see the crowd gathering around the blind pianist, some taking videos, others just pausing to listen. But it wasn't just the music that caught Trump's attention. It was the sadness in the man's eyes, a sadness that seemed to linger in the air, like an unfinished story. Trump walked closer, intrigued, and when he stood next to the man, he spoke. "Excuse me, sir," Trump said, his voice gentle but firm. "That's beautiful music you're playing. What's your name?" The man paused, startled by the question. He turned his head slightly as though trying to focus on the source of the voice. "My name is Robert," he replied, his voice steady but tinged with a quiet sadness. "Robert Turner. I've been playing the piano since I was a kid." Trump raised an eyebrow, genuinely curious. "But I see you're blind. How do you manage to play so well?" Robert chuckled softly. "Being blind doesn't stop me from hearing the music. I've been playing piano for over 20 years, but life hasn't been kind. I dreamed of becoming a world-renowned pianist, but, well, things didn't go as planned. Now, I just play on the streets, hoping someone might notice." Trump could see the depth of Robert's talent, and it struck him deeply. Here was a man who, despite his blindness, had the gift of music, yet life had stripped him of the opportunities to share it with the world. "I can't believe someone with your talent is stuck here on the streets," Trump said, shaking his head. "Tell me, Robert, what's your dream?" Robert paused for a moment, the question seemingly taking him by surprise. I've always dreamed of playing at Carnegie Hall," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I want to show the world that blindness doesn't define me. I want to play for an audience that can hear my soul, not just my music." Trump looked at him for a long moment, his mind working quickly. He knew the power of dreams and how a single act of kindness could change the course of someone's life. Robert's dream wasn't impossible. It was just waiting for the right moment, the right help. "I can make that happen," Trump said suddenly, with a firm resolve in his voice. Robert looked up at him, stunned. "What do you mean?" Robert asked, his voice filled with disbelief. "I'll get you the chance to play at Carnegie Hall. I'll make it happen, Robert. You deserve that stage." Robert shook his head, still in shock. "But how?" "I don't have the resources or the connections. I'm just a blind man on the streets." Trump smiled. "You don't need to worry about that. I'll take care of everything. I know people. We'll get you a stage, an audience, and the recognition you deserve." Trump reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. He quickly dialed a number, and within moments, he was speaking to one of his associates. "Margaret," Trump said briskly, "I need you to make a call to Carnegie Hall. Find out when we can get Robert Turner a spot to perform. We'll make this happen. Don't waste any time." Margaret's voice came through the phone, immediately responsive. "Got it, Mr. Trump. I'll handle it." Trump turned back to Robert, who was still sitting in awe, struggling to comprehend what was happening. "You'll be playing at Carnegie Hall soon, my friend," Trump said. "But first, let's get you something to eat. You've been out here too long." Trump flagged down a food truck and ordered Robert a warm meal, sitting down beside him while he ate. As Robert enjoyed the food, Trump asked more about his life, his upbringing, his love for music, and the struggles he had faced after losing his sight in a tragic accident. By the time Robert finished his meal, a sleek black SUV pulled up to the curb, and Margaret stepped out of the vehicle holding a folder. "Everything's set, Mr. Trump," she said with a smile. "We've got Robert's performance at Carnegie Hall scheduled for next month. The media will be there to cover it." Robert's eyes widened, his heart racing. I don't know how to thank you," he said, his voice trembling. Trump smiled kindly. "No need for thanks. You've earned this, Robert. Now go and show the world what you're capable of." The following month, Robert Turner performed at Carnegie Hall, his fingers dancing across the keys with grace and precision. The audience, moved by his story and his extraordinary talent, gave him a standing ovation. The concert was a success, and Robert's name quickly became known across the world. As for Donald Trump, he quietly watched from the back of the hall, feeling a sense of fulfillment. He had helped make a dream come true, and in doing so, he had changed a life forever. Thank you for reading. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications for more incredible stories like this. Have a great day.